Hi everybody, it's Leslie from Discovery Trekking, and I promised you that I was going to do a really short little video on how to make some fingerless gloves. Now normally you can make these out of fleece, and you've probably seen lots of them around, wool, that kind of thing. But I want to show you what I'm doing today. I'm going to make them with Polartec AquaShell. Now AquaShell is a technical fleece. It's like a neoprene substitute, except it's more luxurious and softer. I'm just going to show you that even though it's quite thick and warm, it's actually very soft and it has a nice drape to it. But it's really water repellent, and it actually makes a really good fingerless glove if you're making gifts, because you don't have to finish the edges on AquaShell. So this is so fast, you're just not going to believe it. So what I'm going to do is, I had originally started with a pattern from another company, but I found that the angle here was too much. So I made my own pattern simply by laying my hand out just on a piece of tracing cloth and making sort of an L shape. It's not obviously right angles, but I found that the other one that was like this was a little too awkward to sew and created points at the seam. So what I'm doing is just going to trace around here, and because AquaShell is not requiring any kind of serging or anything to finish the hems on the top or the bottom, I'm using a ruler because I want it to be nice and straight, because that's going to be a finished edge. So I'm just going to quickly cut these edges. Okay. And I'll throw a pattern weight on here for a sec so it doesn't move on me. And the sides are shaped a little bit. This is a fairly tight fitting glove, and you would use it for, you know, when you're at the arena and you have a cup of coffee in your hand or something like that. Or if you need your fingers really for anything in cold weather, it's nice to have fingerless gloves. Okay. Again, I'm going to do a straight edge on this one piece. And then the curve I'm going to cut with scissors, because it's really hard to get a rotary cutter to do a nice curve. So this isn't, you know, a heart and lung machine we're building. It doesn't really matter if it's super accurate. These are very forgiving. And because they take so little fabric, they're like a scrap buster. I mean, you can just use bits and pieces you have left over. AquaShell is very good for socks, boot socks, that kind of thing. It's used a lot in diving shirts and things like that. So there I have my two pieces to make one glove, and I'm going to put them right sides together. And all I'm going to do is serge and finish the edges, not the hems, but the edges where the serge begins and ends, and I'm going to show you a little tip on that. So just turn on my serger. And of course I have industrial machines. I'm kind of spoiled. Just make sure you get it right in there so the fabric doesn't drag. And another little tip when I'm serging is I always leave the top a little bit in from the bottom, and then when the foot drags it, it usually comes out even. And I'm leaving a fairly long tail on it because in the next step I'm going to show you how I secure that. And again, I just leave my top a little bit shorter than the bottom because I know that's going to drag at the end. And my last seam, you can really stretch this stuff so you don't have to worry too much about going around the curve with it. And make sure my bottom is a little longer than my top. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my straight stitch machine, and I'm going to get rid of these raggy edges. I've actually done all of this technique on this first one that I did, so I'm just going to show you how I make sure that the edge of the serging thread gets hidden and reinforces the glove at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I pull on it, and then I tuck it over into the on top of the seam, really. Lift my foot, and I don't start sewing at the beginning. I start sewing about a quarter to a half inch down, catching in that thread, and I just sew 1 or 2 stitches there, and then I go back all the way to the edge and come back again. And there's a reason for this. When I do this, it makes it so that there is no threads at the top from this straight stitch machine, and you get, you know, that you have to clip off. And now my serged edge is secured. So all I got to do, I obviously did that to all of the edges. All I got to do is turn it inside out. And I now have a really functional, warm, fingerless glove that I can use when I'm at the arena or walking my dog or anything else. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.